I'm here. I'm here. I am here. Now, this was really strange, is that pulled up maybe a little bit after the 7 o'clock hour, right? And maybe within a few seconds, a gentleman, like, I believe it was like one of those, like an old Chrysler van, might have been haven't seen one of those kind of vans in a while, so, but pulls up in a van and just stops like right where I am. It was as if we got here simultaneously, and I'm looking up like, what is this person doing? And when I get close enough, he has his camera. Either he's pointing to the building or he's pointing over there on that sign right there. I don't know, but he waved and smiled, and that was different. But I'm here, point to that field, because we're going to continue with that 549 from last Saturday, and we're going to title this message 549. Of course, this is part one, because last Saturday was really like a intro to where we were going with that 529. You can look over there, still see that those branches and all of that is still down. But good news is, like when we came the last time, you could tell the trash was sitting there for a minute because the grass began to get barren in that area. But they had moved that trash. When we came last Saturday, we noticed that it was moved. Grass looked like it's about to need another cutting. Really want to walk over there, because we saw like you see that little sign over there. It looks like they put a number on it, but there's also information about this piece of land right here that is available. So it's out there. So I don't know what that particular sign right there might be, but we will not, after we notice that sign that says do not trespass, we will not be going out there just to see what that is. But nevertheless, we are here, and like we said, this is part one of that 549. We had a lot to talk about last Saturday, but we really didn't get that far because, you know, of course, we could sit on top of glory like we did last Saturday, but that might be once in a while. How about that? And we noticed that setting up on glory is pretty high. And you saw us when we jumped down, or heard us when we jumped down. It was like, wow. And so we didn't get that. You don't often see like 10 roofs like that. That's a tin roof. Look at it. You could tell because you could see the rust on it. Wow. That literally isn't. But you know, the coolest thing about that is when it rains. To me, that's very relaxing. When you hear like the rain going tick, 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 that is so relaxing, very relaxing. Oh, that is fully tin. But anyway, here's the thing. We had so much to talk about with that 5. Look at the water still there. It's something in that area that won't allow that water to dry up like that. And you've seen video after video with it being there. And of course, we did have a good rain the other day, but still in all, you've seen other videos that will give that time to dry up. But anyway, we didn't get in a walk the last time because we purposely, we purposed to come down here kind of late last Saturday, a little bit later than others, just to see, even like when it's getting like dark and all around, the night is settling in, still see how the neighborhood is. And so we tried to, like that word really tried, we attempt, although they mean the same thing, but it sounds a little bit better, attempt to do the full video. We even brought down, you saw the items that was necessary to do that message for that 549, because it was quite a bit that was being, we said downloaded, uploaded, any way you want to look at it. We was receiving this, at around 5:49. And although we were in like a deep sleep, you know, we told ourselves, this is one thing that we really try to bring ourselves to consciousness on doing, is even in that moment, get out of that deep sleep to at least get the time. So we really did push to get that time, and then as soon as we got that time, we went right back into that deep sleep, and that time never left us after that. And so we did record that time at 5:49, and then later on, you heard when we came to this building 1500, you heard us say that the message would be titled 5:49, and that's the reason for that, is because of the awakening at that time, and we knew how we you know, here it comes, literally had to like drag ourselves out of that deep sleep to just get that time. I gotta get that time, I gotta get that time. And so it was at 5:49, and we just could not release that time after, you know, after we even went back into that deep sleep, and on and on. We could go, look like they freshened their mailboxes and all. So anyway, that being said, had a lot to talk about. We talked, if you haven't seen the video, it's on the YouTube channel of I Am Sent Me, and it's also on the Wall of Salvation. Yeah, we're going to get that lap in today. We didn't get it last Saturday. We might do two. We'll see. And we don't know really how much time we have, because the phone is pretty full right now, and we have to empty it out. And since we're off the internet for that one day, which is today, then we have a lot of things we need to get off of here to have some more time. So we'll take it as far as we can. But anyway, so if we do get interrupted, that'll be the reason. So anyway, back to that 5:49. We got here, we began to share some of that. We shared about 2 items that was necessary. Don't want to forget that. 2 items that were necessary. I'm going to walk all the way down to the end of there where that stop sign is. Let's see what's on this other side of this street. Isn't it beautiful? Can you hear those birds? Isn't it beautiful? Can you hear that? It's such a beautiful sound. Like what they did to their little picket fence. Look at that. Look at the little, those might be like night lights, you know what I'm saying? And that's what that is. Isn't that nice the way they did that little picket fence? I showed you the one up the way. Looked like it was missing some boards, but they look like they put something into this. Okay, interesting. There's our squirrel. We're going to start talking about those squirrels, so you can hear more about that. So when we do talk about the prophetic sound of the squirrel, you'll understand. Look at that. I love that mailbox. Look at that. But anyway, there goes one of those trees. They're all over the place down here. It's almost like there is this park. There's this one odd place when we first came into Florida, and we were just, you know, getting to know the place, and we were still in the rental at that time. And we went to this place, and you talking about trees that were there that were over hundreds of years old. There were some big old trees. And this is what these trees reminded me of all of a sudden. But anyway, 2 items that was necessary. And they were, there's something back here, so we're going to walk over here and see what this is. Goddard. Goddard. What is that? Goddard. Some type of chapel over here. Let's walk over here. Not going to go inside, but let's just walk over here and see what's over here. Didn't know that there was a ministry or something right across here, not too far over. So that's a thought. You know how MD is about, you understand, you know how MD is about those that have a vision. We don't really put a vision on the side of another vision. It's like a couple streets over, but it's still like in the same area. So we'll see. It's Calvary Chapel of Orlando. It's at 15. Interesting that we would, there's another big lot over there. Hopefully they done brought that lot over there with a vision. They done brought that lot. Hopefully they have. But anyway, interesting. So that's a consideration right there. That's something like a strike one. That's an MD pet P. That's like a strike one right there. See? Good to walk around. We never come this far. And even if we're on that main street, we still keep going straight. We just really haven't come this far back. That's a nice piece of property over there. And it looks like they have it because they have no parking between signs. That's beautiful. And hopefully they'll get all that on. See all that? Look at all that building over there with all that greenery and all. That's all building right there. More building, expanding the ministry. But anyway, I'd work on that crack that's right there. I'm hearing something. I'm hearing something way over there, a little bit further. But anyway, we're over here. See, it's good to walk out. So we see that there is a chapel. Pretty big size, though. Pretty big size. We'll have to check into that, get a little bit more information on that and see what it is. And I'll see what all is offered in this area right here. See what that is. And I can hear you, my mother, Doris, somebody just said, my mother, you're talking. Look at the X on the trees. Why would we see that in blue? Oh, wow. We know when they X out a tree, what's about to happen to it. But amazing how that X, two of them. Didn't see that on the way in, but we see it again. See a little squirrel in the tree over there. Oh, wow. Because I heard someone say, well, Mother, that says a Calvary Chapel. We're talking storehouse. You're absolutely right. So just hold on. We see a cat all in the window over there with them lights, and so we can't help but to see it because we're drawn to the light. But that's a cat up in that window over there. So anyway, we see that over here. GODDARD. See the private property over here. But anyway, the two areas, they just need to do something with these trees, like really do some trimming to it and make it a little bit more presentable. Of course, yeah, MD had that crown on my head, but you know MD is not going to be walking underneath all them trees, period. And forgive us for walking all out in the street. Sometimes that's the only option. At least for MD. See, look at all that. They want to get rid of all these. Look, that guy is serving attention. Looked over here. Look, you see the X on those trees too? Looks like they're going to beautify this place after all. There's another X back there. See it? You have to look up in there to see it, but it's there. If you look back, you'll see it. We're just not going to get too close. There's one there, so there's three X's. 1, 2, 3 right there. Okay. All right. Good thing to walk down there. The two items that was necessary, if you haven't seen the video, like we said, there's the videos on those three didn't get finished out like the other ones, but did a pretty good job. There's at least 4 of them like that. There's one there, that's the black kind, and there's 2 more at the end. So like 3 of them, they must not have found the match to it or whatever. But anyway, that's different. I haven't seen that. But anyway, if you haven't seen the video, Just like that little swing thing over there. I do like that. I do have a little country in MD, but not enough to want to stay in the country. Let me find this sidewalk. But anyway, oh my goodness. But anyway, the video is there on the YouTube channel of I Am Sent Me, and it's also at the I Am Sent Me Wall of Salvation, that little bop over at I Am Sent Me Wall of Salvation. Okay. All right, so the two items that we brought was that Write Out Wonderful notebook, which we have it in our hands right here. Okay, so you can see we still have a long ways to go. So it's in MD's hand. It's in my hand. And then we also, it's in here too, we had the Garfield right there. See that? The Garfield CD to assist us and help us to like talk more about this 529. And of course, you know, we are dedicating these special videos right now to those that have special gifts. A lot has happened since we left the building last Saturday. A few things that has happened. Let's go back to the field. When we pointed to the field, and right away we told you how we shined like two lights about that field. And one was when we pointed the camera to the field, as we were instructed to do so, we shared with you how it took us back to the days. He's always working out there on his yard. Look like he's doing some work to get something done. We shared with you how the first thing that we thought of was, you know, MD in that younger years, in, you know, 22 at that age, as an evangelist, and, you know, doing that field work. You know, we call it field work when you're holding revivals and things like that. And then second, we took you to the place where that field reminded us of gleaning in the field. And that was where a word of light, distributing a word of light to the community. It started out to the community. That's where that started from in 2003. One day before Christmas, December the 24th of 2003. That's where the distribution center was birthed out of the servant word of light to the community. Since then, it has grown from, you know, the community, churches, country, children, city. There's them bushes right there. This is the back side of that 1500 building. We haven't seen anything move in that building. That light is, look around, it's just a different light. It may be a sensor light, but MD was way over there, so no way in the world it could pick me up way over there. Hope not. Well, we never know. You never know. But anyway, well, you think it would stay on, though, if I'm underneath of it. Wouldn't you think so? Well, look at that. We just don't know about that light. Okay. But anyway, listen at this. So it went to city. So you see all those C's. So then the Spirit just gave us to abbreviated word of light, TTC. All right? Because it was so many. Once we birthed out that word of light to the community, so much came from that, as what we described earlier, all the way till we got to the word city. That's a beautiful sky over there. And so when city came, there came that TTC, so word of light, TTC. And so that's the second thing that brings us to the field. And then just earlier today, we thought about another field. And that is, according to the BIBLE, that talks about the field is white already. You know, and you look out on that field does not look white. It is green. But the field is green. But the harvest is plenteous. The labor's are few. Looks like that they put some things in that dumpster. We'll keep an eye on that dumpster. Those mattresses and things like that are still there. But you can tell that's beautiful. Look at this. Look over there. They literally, there goes that word for probably the second time, but they're pruning. See that? They're pruning the branches over there. See that over there? We'll point in that direction. There goes that pointer. See, they begin to prune the little bushes around that area. So that's it's probably maybe like a nice rose bush or something like that. But I see that they have pruned that. And you can see the sharp edges too. That says that it's a fresh cut. So I'll keep my eye, keep that eye on that and see what they turn out to be. But it looks like someone literally, there it goes again. Like we said, MD is stuck on that word right now. So you don't even have to bear with us. We just telling you we're stuck on that word. But then you could tell that that's the special parking for the maybe leader or the pastor or whatever, or MD, whomever might get this building. So that's like a special parking right there in that area right there. Looks like a little special driveway or private parking space. But anyway, we're at that building, 1500 Pinnacle. It was called Pinnacle, what was it called? Pinnacle Direct. And it's some type of funding corporation before. But it's been abandoned for some time now. But you can see that they've come to freshen these sides. You see these sides have been made fresh from the last time, because the rain and all kind of like washed away the for sale sign. But you could see that it was for sale. But you can see they came down and they evergreen realtree. We're getting that word down pat. All right. Realtree, not realtree, realtree. But anyway, you can see that it's being maintained in some way, some degree. You can see they have moved even some of those old mattresses. They just haven't moved the sofa that's here, and maybe on some other parts of that bedding. They haven't moved that yet. But you can see, we shared before about, you can see life down here. And that's even more life when you see them pruning those bushes like that. And you can see that they're still good bushes because of the bark being so clear, and so, like when they cut it, it's like of a new kind of bark. So it is alive. See, those are kind of bushes like that where homeless, they go up in there and they can carve out a nice place to live. And you wouldn't know they're there unless you disturb them. Like I said, I believe we'll do like 2 laps today to make up for last time, because we didn't do one. And we wanted to put in at least 2 laps. And we did get down a little bit earlier, but that, when we look over there, that was the third light we received from that field. Point at it again, that field. That's an awesome kind of tree, though. You just have to look at it, and it has a beautiful flower that grows out from that tree. And I, wouldn't even cut it down. It's a very nice tree. But that third one reminded us of in the BIBLE, we'll look for it, the exact scripture that talks about the field is white already. Absolutely white already. And how the harvest is plenteous, but the labors are few. That's one of the reasons when you look inside of the storehouse, and it's been that way from day one. But when you look inside the storehouse, that's the reason for the white chairs. Is that's the light of that. The particular part of that, why all the chairs had to be white. Hi. All the chairs had to be white because of it represented the harvest as being, ready. And everything about the storehouse, which we say, everything about I am sent me from day one, or we wouldn't be here, is that word ready. From day one. Are you ready to walk alone? Those words like that. But ready was always a part of it. So let's talk a little bit about this 549. We even said last Saturday how we was talking about how we saw another video comment before we came to do this video. That little cat, I tell you, these cats are something down here. They look at you like they, I don't know you, what you doing in this neighborhood? And it won't even move, like it's like, yeah, I belong here, but what are you doing here? But anyway, I'm headed for this sidewalk. I don't know about you. Yeah, I know you heard me. All right, MD is still here. Little moments like that keep our feet on the ground. All right. But anyway, no, that's eternal. So we saw another video. Well, we did that video. We did it right there at the building. In that unit right there where the blessing of promise is resting, but the Lord is blessing still. We did it right there. We went into that empty room and we went into it and began to prepare some hearts and minds and all. I would show you something, but that would disturb the video, so we got to keep on going. And so we did that video, so that too is on the wall of I Am Sent Me. I believe that's where we did it, or we did it at Mother Doris. I believe we did it at Mother Doris Authentic page. Yeah, I believe that's where it is, because that's where the gift, that's where we take the gift. That's where it is. It's on the Mother Doris page. Yeah, we actually went live. So it is there, and it's on the Mother Doors. If that's incorrect, of course, we'll correct it. But that's where we normally take all of that. And we were going to make a decision of what day we were going to. It will not be every day, because we, MD does not have the time like that to do so. But we're looking at around Tuesday or Wednesday, really pushing towards Wednesday, because Wednesday is more or less like that time that we've already committed to, like the Right Out Wonderful. And so somewhere between maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. Right now, Wednesday is really having a stronger pull. Because it's like we're already into the Spirit has already set us in that way already to be able to do this type of video where we're talking to those with special gifts and things like that, and opening up and sharing things and bringing ourselves out of, when I say ourselves, we talk about MD, we talk about his servant, bringing us out of that uncomfortable. Yes, it's uncomfortable, because the things that we have experienced and encountered and things like that, most of those things have been things we have kept to ourselves, and unless we're really out there in the spirit place, and we're ministering or something, or holding a meeting or whatever like that, and the Spirit bring it to his servant's remembrance, and then we're speaking like that. But to just open up and just talk about it, that's something that we haven't done. It takes something to bring us to that place of discussion and where we're open to just share. But because we see so much that's going on, and a lot of people really don't know in an hour like this what's God and what's not God. There was no more running we could do. There was no more putting the feet on the street or the road or even the pavement. We just can't run anymore. We just, we're seeing the cost of it and the toll in which it has taken to run. You understand? Because that's what some of us have done. I'll speak on behalf of MD. We've run away from certain things because we didn't like what we were seeing, and we didn't want to be a part of what we were seeing. And at the same time, this is the stir in his servant spirit, maybe to stir yours as well, is that in all that running and getting away and not being a part of, look at all of what has come from that, because there wasn't too many that really would take that strong stand. And so all kind of stuff came through, all kind of evil and lies and mischief and false teaching and things like that have come through. And it's been there for a while, because MD's been running for a while. I don't know how long you've been running, but MD's been running for a very long time. He's come out to work on his lawn. But been running for a long time, and so we're talking years, even a decade or more. And we don't want to really get into that math because it's longer than that. But nevertheless, so much has come through, to the point that I don't know about you, MD don't know about you, but MD just fed up with seeing such false narratives and such false teaching and things like that, to the point that it's weakened the power of God, to the point that even the people of God, don't know if it's God or not. So setting up this, what we call is going to be Mercy She Hopes. And we're setting up this series, and we're really going to go into it wholeheartedly. And so right there, let's just do a real quick move in the direction in which we're headed. And that is, while we were doing that other video, as we said, we could see another video coming in. We mentioned that how the Spirit said to his servant when we were here the last time, that on that Saturday, it says, before doing the message, it says, I am to warm the hearts and minds and souls of the people because of the message. 549 this is a eternal message. It's a message concerning the eternal. So there was a time when his servant was saying, that's crazy. You understand? Because we had no higher word for it. I mean, who could believe it? It's just unbelievable. So who would believe that? And so we said it so much, of course, you say a thing long enough, it gets in you. So that was in us. So when things that, even mysterious things, things of a mystery that was happening, first thing we would say, that's crazy. And of course, you know what happened. It took that day, April the 25th of 2021 at 8:25 p.m. It took that encounter that when we were going to walk off, I said, that's crazy. And as soon as we did that, the Spirit said, now you go back out there and look again. And when we went back out to look again, you know, we're like, that's an X. It just kept slanting and stuff. And just like it really was, you know, not going to move until you recognize or see this is what this is. And undeniable. We could not deny what we were seeing. And so the whole world is seeing it because we're putting it out there for you to see it. And it was through that rebuke, reprove, you call it, whatever it was, it just made his servant turn around and like, oh well, if we just talked about it, no one would believe it. But if they see it when I'm seeing, I moved the camera, put the camera to the right side of me, looked at it with my own two eyes, and it's still there. And it stayed there so long, no one could dispute that. No one could dispute that. And here's what's so powerful, and we're just going to go ahead and put this in there. Of course, we didn't have this in the thoughts prior to coming down here, but we're going to put this in here today, is that because it's all part of that 549. See, correct that right away, 549. And if we said 529 anytime before, it's 549 a.m. in the morning, when an alarm wasn't even supposed to go off. All the alarms were shut off, and some alarm went off at 5:49, which is totally an odd alarm. And so we had to acknowledge that as because things were coming through the Spirit. But what was so alarming that brought us to that 8:25 p.m. You see planes flying over all the time. What brought us to that 5:49 to be that message is, let's rewind, not be distracted. What brought us to the 8:25 p.m. and that happening was prior to that one video earlier that day. And we did a video, so there was two videos that was done on April the 25th of 2021. And we want to stay in because there's a lot of noise around us, so we'll stay focused in where we are. In the first video, it was this rain and thunder and all that, and we captured that rain for a heavy rain. And we said we knew it was coming. We were expecting it on the 24th because that was the time that they did the celebration for the individual that we were talking about, which was DMX, Earl DMX Simmons. And we began to share how since April the 9th at 1:44 a.m. in the morning, how he came to his servant and began to message his servant. So we knew that his spirit and all was in trouble. And that's the only way you can really get that type of attention from his servant in that place, is when a person's spirit and all is in trouble. And so we were expecting all of that thunder and lightning and all that, because we said when a soul is that strong and powerful in the earth, that the weather is affected as well. And so we gave you light to that, even with the by getting you to see what happened when Jesus gave up the ghost and all of that. The earth did quake and all of that. So we know that from that, it has a powerful effect on the weather. So we were looking for that to happen on the 24th. And it rained and everything, but not like that. A little drizzle here, a little drizzle there. Mostly dry air, dry dry. It wasn't like the rain you could like, oh, it rained. But then on the 25th, this is now the 24th was the celebration. The 25th is where his servant learned was the like the private part, like the actual funeral, and of course, MD gonna tell you, how we just don't like that word. But we use it for lack of a higher word, but that's what was happening. And so here comes that thunder and that rain, and so we capture that as a heavy rain, and captured it as a heavy rain. And in the midst of that heavy rain, I'm gonna bring you up to where the 825 video comes in. Unexpected, not expecting it. Wasn't anything we planned. Of course, you can see it wasn't. But that, no, we're not going to do a third lap. We could, though, because that would catch me up to today. So we might do one more, yeah. Uh-oh, see that lightning right there? Did you just see that lightning? Okay, let's do one more, because we're about to talk about the lightning, all right? So that being said, the rain, the thunder, and all of that, then all of a sudden, we'll go as far as we can with, like we said, we don't know how much we have, the length that we can record, but we'll just keep going until we can't record anymore. Hopefully it won't be that long, but nevertheless, there comes the thunder. So, I know MD not gonna get caught in this rain. But hear us anyway. Put a little pep in his step. So here comes that heavy rain. Real heavy rain. Thunder, lightning, all of that. And it captures his servant attention to the point that this is a heavy rain. So we record it. And then all of a sudden, in doing so, here comes this lightning. And then we didn't put it on the the recording during the video. We didn't do it. We didn't put what was going through the mind of his servant because we didn't want to bug anybody out. That's the only light word we could use. We didn't want to bug anybody out. And so we didn't want anyone to hear my inner thoughts was like, oh no, he didn't make it. And that was screaming on the inside of his servant when we saw that lightning come. And you understand? And we're like, oh no, he didn't make it. And this is on April the 25th of 2021, earlier that day. We'll put the video up for you to see it. And but you don't hear his servant saying that, but that's going through his servant mind as soon as we heard that lightning. So all that day I was like, he didn't make it. He didn't make it. I'm talking about this I'm talking about Earl, DMX Simmons. I'm talking about him. And equating the very scripture about how, without making it long and drawn out, is that's what we see when we see that sharp lightning come down like that. We see it like a fallen angel. And it's like, oh. And then I was like, he didn't make it. And so I had those thoughts of, I was concerned about, now I'm really concerned about his soul. Like, Lord, what is happening here? You understand? And like we said, he began to start contacting his servant as early as April the 9th at 1:44 a.m. Of course, it's already out there. And all this is not something we're making up. This has been out there. Dates and all, we can't change it, and neither can the Facebook or anything like that. These are real dates as real events that really did happen. And so I'm really concerned. And then, this is MD language. Lo and behold, 8:25 p.m. at night, that happened. And it came by way of a bright light, like it came and it said, and it set itself before its servant. And whenever we have those type of encounters, you can know something's on the other side of that light. Like we said, and we shared it before, and we can, those that get within an arm reach and a hug, they have heard a servant say, moreover, of that time that we were having these bright light encounters, and we were afraid to go beyond the light. And it took us to get to a light, and to hear the Spirit say, we're just cutting some things short because we've said it more than once, so you'll hear it in various videos and things like that, where the Lord takes the fear away and comforts his servant that you go beyond the light. You will not die, but live. That's what the Spirit say to us. We said that last Saturday, in case you missed that. And so when we went beyond the light, and we saw a whole lot of things. We saw some powerful things, unlike what we've seen before. And of course, we took note of that and we shared it, and it's out there already. But hear us in the Spirit. And we're going to throw this in. Anyone who walks in the light, or even have gone beyond the light, excuse us, or have ever encountered the light, like we said before, this is those that have special gifts to keep you on track, to keep you from going more and more and more towards the dark side. We want you to stay in the light. We want you to come to the light, not to stray away from the light. It's dangerous in the dark and fooling around in the dark places with these types of gifts. But hey, I feel Jesus about to go out there in the wind with him. Y'all stay with MD for about a second or two. It's very important that you hear this. It's very dangerous out there in the dark with this type, in darkness with this type of gift, or your special gifts. So you want to stay in the light. You want to learn more about the light. You want to come more towards the light and not be afraid of the light. So what we know from what his servant has encountered after the Spirit comforted us, and say, you go beyond the light. You know, you will not die. And then it says, but live. And so we knew that was the Spirit leading us there. So we shared about how when it happened, and like the next night, and we saw that bright light. As soon as we closed our eyes, right then and there was that bright light. And we just went on and allowed ourselves to go into that deep sleep. And we saw what was beyond that light. Of course, if I'm still here, that means I live beyond the light, which was the Lord had shared with his servant before, and all. And even in real live situations where the bright light came at us, we got videos to share that with you. We came out. Most people didn't make it out of those type of situations. We shared that with you, how some see that bright light and they keep on going because they've seen the other side, and they don't come back at all. And so we've had more than one, and we've come back to be able to do what we're doing right now. So when that bright light came, and we had already drifted off to sleep, I normally use a word like take a hit. So we'll make you hear that when we talk about taking a hit, we'll say it more over, because sometimes it will come out, because that's part of MD language. It's how MD talk. And so we knew we had drifted off, but that light was so bright, it got us up out of that chair to follow that light. And then that's what it led us to on April the 25th of 2021 at that 8:25 p.m. And we're going to do so much more with that, because it's eternal. So it's not something that you're going to hear about even at this building, even in the when we hold the we're doing that Mercy She Hopes series. You're going to hear more and more about it, because it represents the eternal. And so it's just not something that's going to go away. So hopefully you can hear that. We're here to help those that really are looking to receive that help. And believe it or not, MD wish we had someone to talk to, or to identify or relate to the things that we had experienced and encountered, even in our younger years. Now, we're 58 today. This is our age today. But imagine having someone there like that at 22 and on. And the closest one that his servant normally gives reference to would be, I said he was like a father of mine who was in the military, and that was Elder Williams out of Prayer Assembly in Los Angeles. And every time his servant would walk in and, you know, come in from off of work and get ready and grab those two little ones I had at the time and get them ready. And we would head to Bible study. And every time his servant would walk in that building, people would already be in there seated, and he would have his table out front. That's where that table probably come today, where his servant is most comfortable with that table, having that table spread. But anyway, he'd have that table down front. He would be sitting in that chair, and he would go right on into that Bible study. And that's Pastor Clavester, and Sylvester Clavester, because it's spelt with a C, but I'll put the card up so you can see, just in case we are mispronouncing it. Williams, and he was a pastor over Prayer Assembly at that time, and he would stop what he was doing, and immediately he would say, "Evangelist Smith, yes sir, you got your Bible? Yes sir." And he would always send me to Matthew's 10. So that's why Matthew's 10 is a very special passage of scripture from the BIBLE, because it has his servant. That's my calling out of there. And so he would always go right there, and he would tell me what to do, because he would talk about my gift, and he would say, "Many would not receive it," and tell me what to do. "You are to wipe the dust from off your feet." And he was the first one that really, I believe the Lord gave him to see into that special calling that was on his servant's life. And so he did that more than once, so I knew he just wasn't doing that to pick on or whatever like that. He really wanted me to know that there is such a gift in you that is going to make other folks, you know how they're going to treat you and things like that, but you are to wipe the dust off of your feet. and he literally, it's got to come again, he literally was like my trainer, and that was the very beginning. But we, when we look at this and how that gift has really grown up through the years, what you're going to get from his servant really wish we had more of that in our life. So perhaps because we didn't, and we saw how much we ran from it, because believe it or not, if it's not something the church can embrace and the world would love to have it, but you're not going to the world, what good is it to have such a gift? And then of course it took us one time to be there at that gas station. You heard that testimony, and pumping gas in the glory, about to pump gas in glory, where the Lord said to me, "I'm going to let you live in 3 worlds. My world, your world, the world." And then this is where he concluded. The Spirit said to me, just don't get lost. Just like that. Tony said, just don't get lost. And we shared that, and that was very, very powerful. And we understand that to the max. We're not going to talk about that. But we are going to put it in there for you here, that when we want to reference it, we can always come back to this video. He needs one more light on that vehicle. But anyway, this is an eternal, this 1500 building. When we come down here at this 1500 building, and we had mentioned to you how the Spirit said, while you're down there, just make sure you put this, give a message. We're here, so we might as well do it. So that's what we've been doing. That's what you've been getting. And we started last week with 549. And that was a time when the Spirit woke us up. We basically woke ourselves, like really tussled with ourselves to get out of a deep sleep, just so we could get that time, because the alarm went off. The alarm went off. It was low, but the alarm went off. And we're like, maybe we didn't set the alarm, but we knew we had, maybe we forgot to take the alarm off of one of them because we had so many alarms, and maybe we could have missed one. And to find out that that alarm was not even an alarm that his servant would even set, then we knew something was coming in. And so that's what brought us to where we are right now at this 549. 5, when we break it down according to the Bob, would represent that flow abundance come. 4, if we broke it down, would be that blessing of promise. In according to the blessing promise, would be that earth blessing. And 9, of course, would be that supernatural, that surely, and on and on we could go. But all of that reference a blessing. And it was that time that we said the last time we were here, I'm going to do a little speed fast forwarding, that hopefully this is warming your hearts. Hopefully this right here is warming your hearts, your minds, and your souls, because like we said, we don't know how long this 549 will go, but this is part 1. Last Saturday was the introduction. This one here will be part 1. Hopefully this is warming your heart and your mind and your souls, for where we are going to go further with this and all. But we did say we would do the video. We did that. So if you look at that, it's going to be quite interesting, because as we're talking about the special gifts, we're just pointing to this field for a few minutes, as we're talking about those special gifts and those that have special gifts, and we're here to help you from from appearing to be weird and creepy and spooky and all of that, and being labeled a witch or whatever they want to call you, by opening and coming out of our comfort zone to be uncomfortable to reach you. That's the intentions and the purpose of doing this. And so when we said that there would be another video, we also mentioned that how we heard of, we were on the YouTube, our YouTube channel, and how this one individual who, she said she don't talk to the dead or anything like that, but she had on, what caught his servant attention was she had used the gold print. And normally when his servant using that gold print, we're talking about light for real, light, you see. And so she had put it up in like gold print that DMX is not in the light. And so that got his servant attention, because I'm like, well, if he's not in the light, then I don't know what it is that I'm seeing and what I saw on that day if he's not in the light. So what is she talking about? And so we did a little, little clip from her and all, so you could hear how she says she didn't want to hypnotize herself. She does hypnosis. She didn't want to hypnotize herself. And we had talked about this last Saturday and all, that we were going to talk. We feel a little speck of rain, so we'll give it a little second or two. There go another plane. And she said that she didn't want to put herself under hypnosis, so she had someone that she put under hypnosis. And I believe we got a little bit of a clip there, but that's what happened when we went in that empty room and emptied it out and dedicate this room to be able to do the this series of Mercy She Hopes. And so we hear her say that, and then how she put this person under hypnosis, and and showed her the picture of DMX, and when she see him, this'll be him, and I mean, she's just going on. And this is one of the reasons why his servant is coming, to do this right here and a lot more, and share all these experiences and encounters. And we didn't just because it looks like we're popping up on the scene. We've been at this for a very long time. And like we said, when you get like to the place where a servant is, it took something for us to know what we are and what we are not. All right. And so we looked at all the methods and things she did. We let them know, even in that video, that live video that's on Mother Doris's authentic page, we let them know that, hey, we don't do any of that. We don't put anybody under hypnosis. We won't allow ourselves. And even last Saturday, we warned you. We gave you light about the little twirling lollipops and the bright lights, that's all this like stars and stuff coming at you, and all these bright lights that you start seeing even in these big churches and things. Nowadays you see it, you're starting to wonder, what are they there for? Are they there to mesmerize the people, put the people in a trance, or hypnosis? What is it there for? And so we gave you light to be aware of that, so because you could easily be put in hypnosis and in a trance, and not even know you're there, you see, and you could be acting all out of character and not even know you're there. But it's what people open themselves up to by being so curious, and the mind being so curious, they all over the place. And so they pick up these foreign and strange spirits and things like that, and don't even know they're sitting under somebody else's influence and things like that. So you have to be very, very careful. And so we left her a message, and the only thing that we haven't posted was that message, and we said that we would. And so you'll see where we left her a message to be very careful when it comes to this individual soul. This is a very special soul. Be very careful how you handle this kind of soul. So we left that for her in her message, or in the comment. We did comment there, and all because she mentioned that all the things she did, even calling on the archangel. And I'm like, what in the world is she doing? What in the world? And those that know MD Walk with the Angels know that we are very sensitive and all when it comes to the angels. And so, we're like, and she mentioned out of her own mouth, we can't make this up now, she mentions out of her own mouth that normally he would come. But in this particular case, when she's doing what she's doing with DMX, the archangel didn't come. And I was like, he was not supposed to come, you see. And you could hear me like in the background, like, correcting as we go along. And so we were letting people know that this is how we know the difference between what we have. And so when people say, well, Mother, how do you get out there? And then we share with them how we have the deep sleep, like the deep sleep that fell upon Adam in the very beginning, and also deep sleep where you hear about with Abraham, and all those, that type of deep sleep. And then we talk about, like, if we miss it during, like, eyes open during the day, we miss it, then we have that deep sleep. Or it's like the Holy Ghost, will come upon his servant, and we'll go out in the spirit, and then we'll see something, and things like that. That's how we get it. No hypnosis, no Ouija board, or anything like that. And this is where we're going to close this 549, and we'll come back on next Saturday. But of course, we're going to do a video between this. We did post the text like we said we would. We post those texts. They're on the wall of the introduction wall, and they're also on the Mother Doris authentic page as well, where you see how we saw him 2 times since then, and we put the date and everything. We did the actual text so you can see the date and the time, so we can't make none of this up just because we want to say something and look like we're current. So we get it when it's happening. And so we shared about how his servant saw him like he was at this airport, but it was not an airport that you could see that was part of the United States. And of course, we traveled around the world, so these different airports don't look the same. So it looks like he was at a place like customs, in a foreign place. And like he's waiting on his luggage, but it involved his luggage, whether he was waiting on it or picking it up or sending it forth. But his luggage was involved, and you could see him standing there. And then we went on and we put up the other text about how he was from that, he went to, we come out of that deep sleep so we could get that time. And we wasn't expecting anything to happen after that because we drug ourselves out of that deep sleep. And then right after that, we went back, closed our eyes again. He come back again, and we saw him, and he was standing like in the middle of the street, like where you see the walkway, like the the walkway, the pedestrian walk. You understand, the crosswalks. That's what you call them, the crosswalks. And he's standing there and he's looking around. We tried to describe his shirt like a gold-like kind of, we were just trying to find a color to that shirt because it didn't look like an earthly color. Then we realized again, oh, we got this. We understood what that was after we had gone in and come out of that visit. We call them visits. And so, those are visits. That's not a dream. When it gets that deep like that, that's a visit. Florida is full of bats, I'm telling you. Lots of bats in Florida. And so now that there's that visit, and we saw him standing there, and we could see people coming. People was coming around him, and all we could see that. They were walking around him. They didn't walk through him because he was not a ghost. He stood there, and people was walking around him, in the crosswalk. And he's looking around like he wasn't lost, but it was like he's getting his bearing. And while he's getting his bearing, and all, you could see him standing there. And people are walking past him. They didn't recognize him. They didn't say, "Oh, DMX." None of that. They didn't do that because he appeared to be much younger. He didn't look like the last DMX that did the interview. He didn't look nothing like that. He was younger. His face was longer, and he was younger. And he was just looking around like not lost, but like to get his bearing. And so we put that text out for you to see that. That's what we promised, and that's what we put out there for you to see. And this was the real powerful point of that visitation, is that after we come out of there, we come out hearing those words moreover what he said as he's standing there. And it's like nobody recognized him, and they passed by him like normal traffic in a crosswalk would do, but they didn't walk through him because he was not a ghost. But they passed by him because they didn't recognize him. They didn't know him. And it wasn't like some place that we could say, oh, he's in such and such a place. We did not know the place where he was. He was getting his bearings. And here's what was so deep. This is what he said. This is what he messaged. He said, the only ones, he will show himself. His exact words is, he will show himself to those who can see angels. Just like that. Now, after he said that, while we were in the visitation, when we come out of there, we didn't pay any attention. Didn't even know what it was. Went to go into our day, get ready for our day, and on we could go. And here come them words again. And I'm like, it totally, while we were in that place of visitation, it totally went over his servant's head, that he would only show himself to those that could see angels. So here I've seen him twice, and it took me to come out of that visitation, go about my little merry day, and then it come back, and it's like, here it hits us like that nugget. You understand? We get hit on our head. You'd have to get within an arm reach and a hug to get this, though. How we said that, how we get that hit on our nugget. Well, MD got that hit on our nugget, and it shared with us that the reason why we were able to see him like that at that airport, and also in that crosswalk like that, is because we do see angels. And so it was like, weep, like, how something just really go over your head type of thing and all that. But those were his last words in that visit, is that he's only showing himself to those that can see angels. And those that's the reason why they were walking past him and everything like that, is because they couldn't see the angel there. And he said he would only show himself to those that can see angels. So we put the text out so that because we're texting like in our sleep, so I think we made a few little errors with the spellings, but we was texting in our sleep to get that, so we wouldn't miss it, and we got the time and everything, and we put it out there and all, and that's what we heard. And that was really, 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 really powerful for his servant. Anyway, his servant is getting up out of here because this place has bats and all, and we're about to leave, and we have one more stop. When we get this close, we keep on going and take care of some other things. But that's that 549 time that we've called this message. When we get here, this is why it's called 549. And we're going to talk more about it, more in encounters and things like that. When we come, even on next Saturday, we'll do part 2 of 549, and like we said, we'll put in a little small video in that room as we're emptying things out, so we can do that. Mercy, she hopes. All right, so that's as far as we're going to get today in this message 549. If we did introduce ourselves, we're just going to come and let you know that this is the voice of High Servant Mother Doris, founder of I Am Sent Me, builder of the storehouse. We're at building 1500, the Pinnacle. We're down here. It is a vacant building that's been vacant for quite some time, and we've moved on to another abandoned building, and we come down and we go in areas, and we're here until either the Spirit releases us and send us to another abandoned building. But then those that really get within an arm reach and a hug know that we are in pursuit of a building, and that is so we can cause, when we get there, it's going to be a place where we are going to see the Spirit come to the place of being rested. We've seen the REST, Righteous Entrance Safe Time. We brought that to the people, and we're talking about resting right now. That's what the BOP is doing. When you hear us talk about the BOP, you hear us use a word that where the blessing of promise is resting, like a Noah Ark, coming up on that place of resting until it begin to go forth. The people in the ark come out and go forth and begin to begin to bring about more people in the earth, and all, and multiply. You understand? And all, replenish the earth, kind of thing. You know what I'm talking about, and all. And so right now we are in that place of resting, but when we get a building, we understand that it's for the Spirit to rest, become to a place of rest in, so that we can walk into that anointing of seeing people, bodies and minds and souls and all that healed by the power of God. That's what we are standing upon, and we will not take that back. We believe that the power of God is one of the most extraordinary things that people really haven't embraced, encountered, come upon, and recognized as being the power of God. And so that's what we're looking for a building for. And believe it or not, we've seen this area when we first come into the city, and this is a very good area, and all. This is a very nice building, and also you can still see it, and I'm sure it's almost like after the 8 o'clock hour, but that's why we're here on to the next abandoned building and all. That being said, until next Saturday, but we will be putting in another video, and until then, God bless.